Welcome back. This is another episode of Tactics in Marketing where I'm Chris Milton. I am the CEO of 323 Media, and I'm answering questions that we get from clients and other people who are just like you, curious about their digital marketing and what they should be doing next. So today's question is a really great question I think a lot of people run into, which is about time. You have a limited amount of time every day. How should you spend it? So the question is, what should I do first? What should I be spending my time on? And how should I be doing things that will give me the best ROI? This is a difficult question to answer from a broad perspective, but I will say that we should break this down and preface it in a couple of different ways. The first is looking at it as if you're a small business and you have no resources and it's just whatever time you have left over, what should you do? How should you be most efficient? The second is if you have the budget or you currently have an employee that's doing marketing for you, or you're looking to hire an agency, what should you be outsourcing to that professional or that person who's focused on that task? So let's tackle that first part because I think this is the most relevant to everyone, even if it just means that you're posting for your own personal accounts or growing your personal brand. This is something that I think we all can do at the right time. So let's look at where you can get the best ROI. And the first thing that you should think about is if you're going to get the best ROI somewhere, that means that you're going to have to ignore other things. And that 100% is okay. I am giving you permission to not post on every single platform. I promise you it is not going to bite you in the butt. So picking where you're going to choose, in my mind, is a mix of spending time on social media and also being able to create things on your own website. Personally, I think the first thing that you should always be doing is thinking about the bottom of the funnel and then building your way back up, with the bottom of the funnel being for your customers and the people who are about to come customers or clients or get into business with you, whatever that conversion looks like, and then being able to build your way up from there. Now, other people will tell you to do the opposite and say, get tons of attention and start building things at the top and do all of that. For me as a business owner, what made the most sense was being able to have more closing tools so that I could close more sales without that needing to be a manual follow-up process. And I found that this was better to create tools first. And the reason that I did that was because when somebody asked a question or had an objection and it was something that we'd addressed before, it was super easy to be able to send that blog post or send that guide or send that landing page that we created that automatically gave that impersonation of what the question would be. This is something that a social media post can't necessarily do. It feels customized to the person because you've put the thought into it. You're obviously in your business every single day, but allowing yourself to have the freedom to say, here's this post, this can go out quickly in an email with something that took an hour or two worth of work. But that thing can also work for you when you're not using it. So having that tool that explains a process and a problem that you're trying to solve for a client is something that can be found by somebody else that isn't even on your radar that's looking for your services. So that's why I look at it as bottom up. If it were to be top down and your business was related to being able to monetize an audience, like having a newsletter and being able to have sponsors or affiliate links that are built within there, then it would be probably a different story, because you'd be able to have the audience monetized at the very high level and then being able to upsell them into bigger services. However, as a small business owner, you typically don't have that. You typically have your customers and your prospects, and you're trying to get more prospects so more prospects can become more customers, right? It's not like you have a small, tiny offer at the top that allows people to get into your ecosystem. But that's something you want to build towards. And so that leads me to question number 2, which is if you have the employee or you have the agency or the budget to hire someone, what should they do? And what those people should be able to do, because it's actually easier to hire for this role, are those top of funnel activities. When you have a social media manager who has a bunch of content to work on because you've created all of it already that's bottom of funnel, it's easy to simplify that information or fragment that information into multiple pieces that are for someone who's looking for less information or is just starting their search. So if we were to talk about what's a good company we can talk about right now, it's like tax season, right? So there's a lot of clients that are really busy thinking about their taxes, talking with their accountant. Well, if you were to create a guide to help every single person with their personal taxes, that's great. You could have 20 different bullet points that are in there about all the different things to look out for before you file your tax return. Sure, great. This is just an idea that I'm coming up with right now because of what time of year it is. But those 20 different ideas of things that you're supposed to remember before you file your taxes can lead to the starting point of 20 different social media posts that a marketing manager or agency could use as fuel to create visuals around them or expand on them a little bit more or group them into different things that would apply to it or customize it to say, hey, dentists, hey, doctors, hey, small business owners, these are things you should think about. And so you can take this core thing that you've done that's a bottom of funnel activity that's a great closing tool and then amplify it and manipulate it and change it and repurpose it into what you can do on every single platform. So if it was myself being asked that question, which, I run a pretty lean show. It's not like I have a humongous team that's doing a lot of this stuff for us. I'm finding tools that make it possible so that I can be visible on more platforms. Am I going to be the biggest and most time dedicated to every single place that's there? No. And if you ask me today versus ask me in a week or ask me in 5 days or ask me in 5 months, it's probably going to change because of where I'm starting to see success and where I'm starting to see deals come from. And so, yeah, you're going to see my profile on X is kind of sporadic, and same thing with Instagram and same thing with YouTube. I'm trying to be more consistent, but the place that I'm getting the best results is where we're going to start doubling down on. And then where we can keep things active is where the help comes in and where a social media manager and where an agency like ourselves can start amplifying all of that content in different places, because it takes work to change things to work in different places. So I think that's kind of my example of what you want to be able to do. The first is think about what's the best ROI for your time. And you know what? This could be completely wrong for my assumption of your business and not having those pieces in place. And the best thing you could be doing is spending your time on LinkedIn, finding new connections and finding your perfect ideal clients and getting in touch with them, because you already have these pieces in place. But that's the conversation you need to have with yourself and say, what does my business need the most? Where can I start to do that? Do I need to be doing more networking? Am I trying to find new vendors? Should I be going to a trade show? Should I be going to, online? Should I be spending time making content? Should I be making time with blog posts and doing SEO and updating our listings? That question of the ROI for your time is something only you can answer. The best place for you to spend it is probably somewhere online on social media, but it doesn't mean you have to create. It means that you have to put the time in to understand the platform and squeeze the most out of it with the time that you can, and find if there's ways you can build automation around those things so you can keep track of what's going on, and also so you can monitor it a little bit. Super easy to say, I got to find new accounts on Instagram to follow that could be, potential customers. And then suddenly you realize an hour is gone and you don't really know how many people you reached out to, right? So find some things that are out there that you can help with understanding what you're doing, why, and so you can find things later on. So that's the short of it. If you're looking for more information on anything that's kind of marketing related in our sphere, jump over to tacticsofmarketing.com and you'll be able to see a lot more that's there, including our content marketing course that is all about how you can do more things like this for your business that maximize how you can really amplify your overall presence online, build your authority, gain more relevance, and build your business. So until next time,